Education Minister says governors must do their jobs. Prime Minister receives detailed report on Manumanu land deal. And Hela Province on a mission to change its reputation.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. This is Thursday's news. Education Minister Kuman has tasked all provincial governors to ensure that their provincial education boards execute the national government's tuition fee-free policy. Kuman's directive came after Morobe Governor Kelly Naru asked Minister Kuman on the effectiveness of TFF implementation at the provincial level.
The question on who will pay the school fees of students attending government schools surfaced again in Parliament this morning. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru raised this concern after there were instances of schools refusing to accept students who did not pay their fees and the withholding of certificates because of outstanding fees.
Tuition fee-free policy seems to be hitting the brick wall at the provincial level.
In response, Education Minister Kuman told Parliament that schools refusing to accept students because of school fee-related issues must stop because the national government's tuition fee-free policy is in effect. Kuman explained that provinces that are using the Education Act are still subjected to the national government's act.
By way of agency, the responsibility being decentralized to those provinces. You got a separate act. The application of that act does not override the policy of the national government.
By this, Kuman means that schools which are recipients of TFF should not charge fees on students.
And I urge all the governors on the floor of today, I'm urging all governors to take some responsible position in the provinces.
A supplementary question raised by Goroka MP Bire Kimisopa highlighted concerns on the operational costs of running schools in provincial towns and rural areas. Kimisopa asked Minister Kuman to tell Parliament how the government is planning to address operational costs that may be higher than the TFF fund given by the government.
Before the minister takes a sledgehammer and start going right throughout all the schools in this country, what is the evidence on the ground per school in this country to suggest that the project fees should not be charged?
Kuman then announced that the national government will be releasing TFF funds come next Monday. Thus, schools should not send students away because of school fee-related issues. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Justice Minister Anopala says he suspects that the 10 million kina allocated to build a Supreme Court house in Wewak, East Sepik Province was abused. Minister Pala made this statement after East Sepik Governor Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare asked why it is taking a long time to build the Supreme Court.
Grand Chief Sir Michael raised this question because the law and justice sector in East Sepik will be opening their 2017 legal year in Wewak tomorrow. Sir Michael said construction has commenced on the court infrastructure, but wants the Attorney General to explain what is causing the delay.
Supreme Court blomi, only been making sampla money long end, also 10 million. Milak sabi, one time through by despla Supreme Court building blomi start. Ibin start pinis na iko halfway, 1M heavy. Supreme Court bin fundim kendes la project or also manem.
Minister Pala said he is aware of the release of that 10 million kina. However, said he has no record of where that money went. Pala then assured the East Sepik governor that he will task his department to conduct an investigation into the release of that money.
Only information I have is that the funds were released. So, Honorable Chief, Grand Chief, I can only suspect that there has been abuse of those funds.
Minister Pala promised the Grand Chief that he will advise him on the cause of the delay once the investigation is completed. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill today for a first time received a detailed report on the issues surrounding the proposed military base relocation site at Manumanu in the Central Province. Mr. O'Neill said he would go through each issue and make a public statement in due course.
Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister was responding to questions by the member for Kairuku-Hiri Peter Isoaimo this morning in Parliament during question time.
What the people of my electorate now would want to know is the position of government, and especially from our good Prime Minister as head of the country.
Mr. O'Neill said he will look through the report he received today.
I wish to inform this Honourable House that I received a briefing notes from the officials this morning. This is the first time I've received a detailed report on the issues surrounding that land. I will go through each detailed issue and I will be making a public statement in due course.
The Prime Minister also said he received a petition from the Central Province Governor Kila Hauda last year on behalf of the traditional landowners of the land portions concerned. Mr. O'Neill said he has instructed officials to look through this petition to find out how these landowners can be assisted.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I want to assure the good member that I have made the commitment to the Central Province Governor much earlier, before the issues that are now been debated and discussed, that I will, as I've done to the case of Woodluck, that I intend to allow the people of Manumanu to continue to live on that land and look at the possibility of returning portions of the land in which they are already settled back to the landowners in Manumanu. That I intend to honor, Mr.
Regarding the new report received today, Mr. O'Neill said he would go through each issue and make a public statement in due course. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
Sinisina Yongomul MP Karanga Kua later asked the Minister for Public Enterprise and State Investments, William Duma, a series of questions relating to the same land portion. Among the questions, Mr. Kua asked if the PNG Defence Force had the title deed to the Lancron base. He also asked if that title was transferred to Kumul Consolidated Holdings in return for the 46.6 million kina it paid. Minister Duma revealed that an MOU was entered into by the PNG Defence Force and Kumul Consolidated Holdings in 2015 when KVN MP Ben Micah was State Enterprise Minister. KCH was given an exemption by the Department of Lands, which is as good as a title, pending a formal allocation of a title by the Land Board.
Did the Defence Force have title to the Lancron base? Title means a title deed and not a certificate of occupancy. Number two, was that title transferred to Kumul Holdings Consolidated Limited in return for the 46.6 million it paid?
First, as the member himself know, and as a lawyer, the Defence Force had no title to the Lancron base. And as to the second question of whether the title was transferred to KCH, there was an MOU which was entered into between Kumul Consolidated Holdings and the PNG Defence Force dated 25th day of September 2015, when the Honourable Ben Micah was the Minister for State Enterprises. And as per that MOU, although there was no clear title, this arrangement was made when payments were made. And in return, Mr. Speaker, Kumul Consolidated Holdings was given an exemption by the Department of Lands. And as the learned lawyer knows, an exemption in favor of a particular company is as good as a title pending the formal allocation of a title by the Land Board. And as everyone knows, the land board had been suspended for several months last year. There was no sitting of the land board, and there is a written letter from the Secretary for the Department of Lands to the Defence Force and the Kumul Control Holdings Limited, when giving that exemption, which was already gazetted, that when the land board is reconvened, title will be issued to Kumul Control Holdings Limited, and everything is in writing. And we were all following an MOU.
Customary landowners of the Gabadi and Manumanu Association have given a 48-hour ultimatum to the government to respond to their petition that was presented last year. Among their demands, they want the government to revoke their 6 land titles and a commission of inquiry into the matter. This follows issues surrounding the relocation of the proposed military base.
Customary landowners of the Gabadi and Manumanu land held a conference today to express their grievances with the current land issue. Landowners say prior to the purchase of the land, there was no consultation done. They feel they have been deprived of their rights. Landowner and chairman of the Gabadi Village Pressure Group said the land was only meant to be used for agricultural purposes.
Initial cadastral surveys were carried out by an expatriate surveyor by the name of John Cameron, dating back to 1883, for the purpose of a sugar land. The Queensland government wanted to establish a sugar plantation in our land. But our chief had foreseen these cruel dealings that would arise some generations in future, and therefore put a stop to it. And today we take that same bold stand to say no to any development in our place. Leave that land, we need it. On deeds of attestation testifies some transactions were executed in 1908 up to 1912 and 13. This further proves that the Crown lease may have expired in or about 2009 therein forthwith. And if the land has expired, why weren't we not consulted as the legitimate customary landowners on a leaseback arrangement?
They have also raised concern on issues they fear will happen should the relocation take place. One of them includes misconduct of military officers.
There will be a high risk of water pollution and contamination to our aquatic and marine ecosystems. 4.4, our privacy will be interfered with and impeded. Outsiders' intrusion into our fishing, hunting, gardening, leisure areas, and other amenities will be denied of our rights. And there will be also a high vulnerability to our female folks and our children, whereby their freedom of movement enjoyed now will be restricted and denied. Other problems, and not forgetting the marriage breakups that will be caused in all this. PNG Defence Force soldiers and personnel pose danger to our communities from past experiences of their unfriendly actions, as witnessed in Port Moresby and other parts of Papua New Guinea.
Their demands include the sacking of 2 ministers responsible and involvement of landowners in decisions concerning their land. They threaten to cut water, electricity supply, main highways and betel nut distribution. Merlin Diakotam, National EMTV News.
Member for Kavieng and former State Enterprise Minister Ben Micah says he was not responsible for the land acquisition as accused by current State Enterprise Minister William Duma yesterday. He said he was responsible for the process of the relocation of the Port Moresby wharf to Motucare following an NEC decision. Micah elaborated today that at the time as minister, he suggested for the military base to be relocated elsewhere.
All this land that has been acquired is 100 times bigger than Mari Barracks and Taurama Barracks and Landcron. There is no need for that. The naval base is to move and be developed properly in Manus at Lombrom, leave the landowners' land alone, and if they want a small base, build it on Gamo Island or build it at the Pearl Farm, that land is owned by the state. And this 46 million kina is clearly money that has gone into the pocket of real estate speculators.
You're with National EMTV News. Among stories after the break, Lay police boss with more on Buimo breakout, Hela Province in push to change reputation, and East New Britain judge wants sexual offences settled in court. Don't go away. Welcome back. Residents at another Lay suburb have demanded that the arm of government responsible for suburban roads get their act together and seal the roads. Chinatown has long been a prime suburb in Lay City, but in the last 20 years, the street roads have become riddled with potholes. But the road upgrades hinge on funding that is provided to the Lay City Council.
Rex Duale has been a resident of Chinatown for 32 years. He has seen the road in front of his house deteriorate to this condition. The road is now riddled with large potholes, and many of the people who live here have been waiting for an improvement in services for as long as they can remember.
Mikam stablo ya milugim disla road now, lo disla street blomi, Kinfisher Street. Milugim lo disla year 1985 ikam come up lo disla 2017. Lo high blomi milugim disla pothole istab mistab since mistablo here. All pigini blomi come up all stablo disla pothole we go and now all go be like married and stuff.
But Rex is just one of the many suburban residents who say they've been neglected by the authorities who are supposed to provide those services.
All walking, all the main road, only walking, put this cement over the sanding openings. Now this is all legally, I also want them now only no like law, straight him. Or no like law, straight him also like legally to one time.
Yesterday, similar sentiments were shared by residents in one of the most neglected city suburbs, East Taraka. It used to have good roads, a shopping center, cinema and a clinic.
Streets and bush come up na pothole plap carry am yulgum now am planted wara pulap yan carry am adlo coming set na
There is growing anger over the lack of services coming to these parts of the city.
It needs more money.
Lay resident and a former lawyer of the city council, Emmanuel Mambe, says suburban roads are the responsibility of the Lay City Council, but it is a council that is terribly underfunded.
What I would like to see more is for provincial government to give more grants to the city council in order for it to carry out its job. I know that in the past the city council had its own plant and equipment, and using those it carried out jobs long all straight about. But all those all plants they no longer exist because of no funding to maintain them.
In the early 2000s, Mambe wrote an agreement that committed the provincial government to pay 25% of all GST revenue to the city council. He says that agreement hasn't been honored for years.
To my knowledge, that agreement is still valid for all purposes. Agreement signed in 2006 between Luther Wenge and James Kay for 25% of GST collected in Lay City to be given to Lay City Council to carry it out, to work belong. So far, provincial government in honor of this law.
In November, the city council's operations were hampered after an embarrassing power outage that lasted for several days. The council had not paid its bills because of a lack of funds. The funding problem has extended to its ability to build and maintain suburban roads. And while the funding woes of the city drag on, Lay City residents continue to put up with substandard roads. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lay.
Lay Metropolitan Commander Chief Superintendent Anthony Wagambi Jr. confirmed 5 inmates who were held at the Buimo jail escaped at around 12:30 p.m. yesterday. All 5 were remandees. They were in prison for various offences, including armed robbery. 2 of the escapees, shot by CS officers during the escape, later died. The other 3 are still on the run.
Commander Wagambi said police were alerted of the breakout 20 minutes later and went in to assist CS officers by blocking of all escape routes. Police were not able to identify the escapees as they were not wearing prison uniforms.
How they escaped and all that will be reported by the CS authorities. They'll have their own internal inquiries into that.
Details of the 3 escapees will be given to police later after a confirmation with the jail commander. The 3 on the run now adds to the outstanding number of escapees who are still at large from previous breakouts.
We've been able to apprehend a lot of them, but there's still a lot of them out there.
It is understood that escapees still on the run tend to cause a lot of problems in the community, including serious offences like armed robbery. Police will be releasing information of the 3 still at large and are appealing to relatives and community leaders to assist police in bringing them forward. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Ley.
Lay's Chinatown police have apprehended 2 suspects who were part of the group who held up the staff of Palgan supermarket yesterday afternoon. Lay Metropolitan Commander Superintendent Anthony Wagambi Jr. says 7 armed men went to the supermarket and held up the staff. However, police personnel at the Chinatown police station went after the armed robbers, capturing 2 of them.
Police chased the armed men on foot and blocked off all their escape routes. 2 of the suspects were arrested. The other 5 escaped.
Criminal elements were monitoring police. When they saw the police vehicle of Chinatown traveling out, they went in and robbed the shop, not knowing that there were policemen in the station who reacted and pursued them on foot, and with the support of the other Chinatown police unit who came back to the area, and they were able to apprehend the 2 suspects.
A bag containing 5 homemade guns and a knife were recovered from the 2 suspects caught. The suspects identified the other 5 involved in the robbery, and arrest will be made soon. Meanwhile, a city has seen a decline in the number of armed robberies since September last year. The number of car thefts have also dropped. However, police are still on the lookout and are still responding to incidences. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Ley.
Hela Province is on a mission to change its notorious gun-ridden reputation to a tourism destination. This morning, the Hela Provincial Government and the PNG Tourism Promotion Authority announced plans to develop Hela's tourism potential. Funding of 100,000 kina was presented to the Hela Provincial Government by Tourism Minister Tobias Kulang today to begin groundwork.
The announcement this morning in Port Moresby follows the signing of a MOU last year for provinces to partner TPA and grow the tourism sector in each province. Hela is the second province to come under this initiative after Simbu.
Tourism products, what the people have to come and see and experience, are locked in our provinces. Without our provinces engaging in what we want to do in terms of tourism development in this country, we will not get anywhere.
Known for its lawlessness, Hela Governor Francis Potapes says a collaborative effort is needed by all state agencies and stakeholders for Hela to become a hotspot for tourists.
A whole of government approach is needed to promote tourism in many parts of this country. That is where our tourism potential is never unlocked.
The PNG Tourism Promotion Authority will assist Hela in creating a provincial tourism master plan. First and foremost is the establishment of a tourism bureau in Tari.
Bureau will be the marketing and PR agent for our province. We'll have a permanent bureau manager supported by a skeleton staff, and they will be managing all the PR issues for our province, because that is what we are suffering from at the moment.
The Hela Wigman is the first tourism product Hela will showcase, including cultural festivals in districts.
Hela is some of those products that some other provinces cannot compare with in terms of whitewater rafting, trekking, in terms of the culture, the village stay, so many things. So we just need to work together as a team.
There are many challenges for TPA and the Hela provincial government in embracing this partnership. However, both stakeholders will be working on a strategic model to grow Hela's tourism potential.
I believe that Hela will go forward, not just in terms of the LNG project and all that, but we have a vast potential in tourism. That's why I'm putting my hand up to partner with you, Minister.
Hela provincial government has allocated $5 million in its 27 budget for the tourism sector. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Tourism Minister Tobias Kulang says the creation of the Tourism Police Program will make a crucial role in growing PNG's tourism sector. Minister Kulang says the understanding between his ministry and the police department will see this initiative rolled out in all tourist destinations around the country. He says PNG is not the first to do this. Similar arrangements have been in place in other parts of the world.
You go to Israel, it's a policeman. You go to Thailand, it's a universal, program that runs. It's not just Papua New Guinea, so where there is tourism police. Oh, okay, all police stop here, so all tourism, all tourists go, all piling belly silo around, looking all place, walking little shopping zone, this like that. So it's a very important concept that we are glad that the police hierarchy is adopted.
East New Britain's resident judge Salatil Lenalia has made a public plea to East New Britain people to report sex crime to the police and not to resolve them outside of the formal court system. Justice Lenalia says every sex offender must be tried in court for the crimes they commit in order to avoid chances of reoffending. His comments come after numerous instances where most of the sexual offences committed are solved out of court through traditional mediation. Edwin Fidelis reports from Kokopo.
East New Britain Province is synonymous with sexual-related crimes and more particularly incest. This time the concern is coming from a national court judge who presides over most of these cases. Justice Salatil Lenalia, an East New Britain resident judge, has called on his countrymen and women to report such cases to the police and stir up changes in the province.
I am true, yes. Suppose you may walk one time, but you may alleviate him this law. Practice where all money abuse him all pikinini, now only abuse him all mama long fight him all.
In recent years, compensation payments using pigs and traditional shell money have been used as items to resolve serious crimes out of court.
Those people who have committed a criminal offense, for them to come in court and sort them out in the court.
This year might be another tough one for both police and the courts as they try to battle against holding sex offenders accountable. Justice Salatiel believes that working together by reporting these serious crimes can help bring justice to those who were afraid to speak for themselves.
To live in the traditional way of life, because police come to the village to arrest an offender, village elders were bound by tradition to protect their people and even offenders, and not to hand them over to the police.
Figures provided by the Sexual Offence Squad in Kokopo are always daunting. The SOS team revealed that at least 5 sexual-related crimes are reported every week, but most of them don't usually find their way into the courtroom.
Solving these matters in the village or community level, but involving compensations. Once they see that there is no compensation being laid or received from the perpetrator or the suspects, they bring these cases forward to the police to raise that. And then we find out that no, this has been done, or this has been happened, so because of no payment, they are bringing this forward, these cases, which is wrong.
Most of the victims are minors below the ages of 16. While there are laws in place to protect the victims, those who commit the crimes don't pay much attention to it. The police say there are many victims who haven't spoken out yet because of oppressive threats by perpetrators, while others handing over one of their own family members to the police may not be an easy decision to make within the family. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Now looking at our finance news, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.3150 in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3075, $0.4028 Australian dollars, $0.2833 euro, and 34.57 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee closed lower, gold and cocoa closed higher, while copra closed the day unchanged. Crude oil and copper closed lower, while palm oil closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 26.85 points higher. The ASX is trading at 7.77 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed at 7.61 points lower. You're tuned into Thursday's news. When we come back, 26 years prison sentence for rapists. Stay tuned for details. Welcome back to the news. A quick reference guide on the Bougainville referendum has been compiled. The guide is meant to create awareness and answer questions such as who is allowed to vote in the Bougainville referendum, who will conduct the referendum, and will the results of the referendum be binding upon the PNG government. The guide was launched today by the National and ABG electoral commissioners. The Waigani National Court has found 3 people guilty of having been involved in a rape incident that happened in Port Moresby in 2012. The court found defendants Lolo Bellamy and co-accused Hobai Haro and Daniel Meakoro guilty of 4 counts of aggravated rape. The defendants were sentenced to 26 years each. Eric Harupma with more.
Appearing from custody for sentencing this morning at the Waigani National Court was defendant Lolo Bellamy from Milimbe and co-accused Doba Kapina and Daniel Meakoro from Gulf Province. They were found guilty of 4 counts of aggravated rape with grievous bodily harm under Section 347 of the Criminal Code Act to complainant Prisa Ove. The court added that on January 2012, the complainant and a brother were returning from a nightclub in Port Moresby to buy beer near Erima suburb when a fight broke out between a brother and another man. There, defendant Lolo Bellamy took her to his house and then informed co-accused Doba and Daniel before they forcefully dragged her into a nearby banana garden and continuously raped her. Justice Penuel Mogis, while sentencing the defendant, said, "Rape is a serious crime in the country and for the offence, life sentence is the maximum penalty." Each of the defendants was sentenced to 26 years imprisonment with hard labor. Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
A woman from Juwaka, Peter, who resides in Leh with her family, is still waiting for a feedback regarding her compensation claim from motor vehicle insurance after she lost her left leg in an accident in 2014. The driver, according to a police investigation report, was heavily intoxicated. He was in the process of overtaking another vehicle on high speed, lost control and ran into I and her family were told by the police officer handling her case that she is not entitled to compensate claim from MVIL because the motor vehicle concerned was not registered at that time. Police and medical reports have been sent to MVIL in 2014, but nothing has been done.
52-year-old I. Peters' left leg was amputated few days after the accident in 2014. Her right leg is still injured. I is a mother of 4 who has moved to live in Leh with her family in 1996. A medical doctor recommended treatment by experts, but she does not have the money to get the help she needs. Most of the household chores have since become the responsibility of her husband, Peter Willie, and their children. Life in the house has changed from one of happiness to one of hardship. Every day she is assisted by her husband and children to shower. I and her family were assisted by a friend to proceed with the compensation claim from Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited, but no clarifications were given.
License, na drink drive, na police na blolim disla na only locking member, all locking spots fine na money go na mkolgara.
Attempts were made to get an answer from Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited on the process of applying for insurance as well as the status of a claim. The manager for claims at MVIL in Port Moresby said the documents were received last year in August and not on the year of the accident. He said ICE documents needs to go through a verification process before a decision is made because the motor vehicle concerned was not registered at the time of the incident. Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
If you haven't heard about cloud computing yet, you certainly will in 2017. Papua New Guinea is charging full speed into the 21st century in an attempt to keep up with our more developed counterparts, and cloud computing is fast becoming a popular vehicle in driving this development. Companies like Digital Business have fine-tuned the internet-based tool for the Papua New Guinean market.
In the era of Google Drive and Dropbox, gone are the days when companies would use hard drives religiously for storage purposes. Cloud computing has replaced the archaic storage tools of yesteryears with the easy-to-use and accessible anywhere cloud. In the simplest term, cloud computing means storing and accessing data and programs over the internet. Even more simply put, the cloud is just a metaphor for the internet.
Cloud computing is really just taking all of the software and the hardware that people traditionally bought and putting the majority of that into the internet. Let's say somewhere it's in a data center somewhere. It may be onshore here in PNG or offshore, the different products around the world.
Digicel Cloud Computing delivers hosted services over the internet. The cloud service has 3 distinct characteristics which differentiate it from traditional hosting. It is sold on demand, typically by the minute or the hour. It is elastic. A user can have as much or as little of a service as they need at any given time. And the service is fully managed by Digicel. The consumer needs nothing more than a personal computer and access to the internet.
You don't have to go off and buy expensive hardware and software and put it on your premise. And in PNG here we have a lot of issues, for example, around electricity and so on, that when you've got IT hardware it's very susceptible to those fluctuations in electricity. Whereas with the cloud, provided you've got a data connection, whether that's on your mobile phone or through your office, you can get to that software and hardware that's sitting in a resilient service somewhere else in the world. And the real benefit for businesses is that you only pay for what you use.
Leanne Jarari, National EMTV News.
This is Thursday's news. We have a jam-packed Chukai Sports with Kumul Petroleum Holdings committing to the PNG Games as gold sponsor, and shocking news for football as Hekari United is disqualified from the OFC Champions League. Stick around for the details.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Kumul Petroleum Holdings has come on board as a gold sponsor, contributing 500,000 kina to the 7th BSP PNG Games to be staged in Kimbe. West New Britain Governor Sasindran Mutavel was present to witness the announcement, along with members of the Games Organising Committee in welcoming KPH on board. Chairman of the host organising committee, Ruben Kautu, said residents of West New Britain will have a share of what the PNG Games will bring to the province.
A cheque of 500,000 kina was received yesterday by West New Britain Governor Sasindran Mutavel and Chairman of the Host Organising Committee, Ruben Kautu, who thanked KPH Managing Director, Wapu Sonk, for coming on board as a gold sponsor. Governor Mutavel thanked KPH, saying the support will go towards nation building, especially an event that unites youth from around the country to showcase their talents.
And this is one of the national event. And this is one of the nation-building event which will unite the sportsmen and women from the 22 provinces. And as the national government have declared now the PNG Games to happen once in 3 years, we are still in the right year for us to host the game. And this is going to give opportunity for all those talents which are hidden in the remotest areas of our country.
Chairman Kautu thanked Sonk and his staff for their financial support.
Part of the funds that we receive will help us through the operations of the game. We have infrastructure costs that we continue to manage, and we have a contractor that's working, working hard so that we can achieve the infrastructure that we need to host the games.
Mr. Sonk said helping national events in promoting the skills and talents of Papua New Guineans and showcasing the country through tourism and social developments are just some of the areas KPH is looking at supporting.
So for the sports and also for Kumul Petroleum as well, in achieving one of our objectives, which is really to have social development or promote social development, and that's That's the PNG obligation that we have in our thinking as a company.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Shocking news in football. PNG and one-time Oceania champions Hikari United Football Club have been disqualified from participating in this season's OFC Champions League. This was made known in a media statement from the Oceania Football Confederation today. The decision comes after the Papua New Guinea Football Association filed a formal complaint following numerous derogatory public statements regarding PNGFA, its officials, elected office bearers made by Hikari United Chairman John Capinato.
The Oceania Football Confederation further added that the suspension was also related to public statements and organized public meetings related to the formation of a new football association in opposition to PNGFA and a rival National League competition which had been made in late December 2016. The suspension, however, cited multiple indiscretions which stem from the election of new executives within the PNGFA administration, as well as statutes from FIFA, which had been queried numerous times throughout last year. Capinato, in a strongly worded email responding to the OFC, outlined his demands, which included a request for PNGFA President David Chung to hold a roundtable discussion, with the premise that, should these demands not be met, then the establishment of a new footballing body would be done, with a new constitution and competition involving far more members than the current 6 within PNGFA. Hikari has been one of the best sporting clubs in PNG's history, nominated multiple times for SP Sport Awards, and of course winning 9 of the 11 seasons they've participated in the NSL. Hikari have become the poster team of what success in sport should be about.
The Tin Men have taken the lead. Nigel Debenyama.
It has been no secret that Hikari owner John Capinato has been disgruntled at the actions of the Oceania Football Confederation of what he has constantly deemed as meddling into the affairs of PNG football, and the latest stance by the OFC is now seen as the last straw. In a phone call from the Solomon Islands, John Capinato stated that the move by the OFC had been anticipated. However, he believes that with his suspension, the death of the democracy of football has truly begun. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
Head coach for the Lae City Dwellers Football Club, Peter Gunemba, has stated that his club's preparations for both the OFC Champions League and the Telecom National Soccer League for 2017. The club has introduced a number of new players on their roster as they look to fill the void left by midfielders Michael Foster and Joachim Waroi, as well as striker Nigel Dabinyaba, with captain Raymond Gunemba eyeing a return for this season's international campaign.
When we are looking for towards the whole league, I think the preparation is in line. If we are not prepared, then I think the NSL, how can we prepare for our league? So I think NSL would be okay. Like the other things we'll be playing here, I think we will do fine. We're hoping to keep continue to maintain our position in the finals to defend the title. I read in the newspaper this morning, and I heard that the Hikari is going to go for the last time and come back, and that's it. I don't know whether that is true or not, but for Lae City Dwellers, we remain as we are. We want to stick to PNGFA and get prepared for the National Soccer League, and then continue to play on and try our best to retain our title.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The inclusion of the SPPNG Hunters in the Queensland Interest Super Cup has changed the competition dramatically. The Hunters' dedication to the sport has seen the growth of the code in the last 3 years.
The career pathway for the SP Hunters has proven to be effective since the start of the program, and Minister for Sports Justin Chichenko says the Hunters are a success story.
This is a testament to everybody getting around our national sport, which was in dire straits 4 years ago. Now we have a career path for young, inspiring Papua New Guineans that want to be a hunter.
SP Brewery Managing Director Stan Joyce says since supporting the Hunters in 2014, they have proven to be a force in the Queensland Interest Super Cup.
When we started this competition, I was asked what would be a good result. And one of the statements was, oh, well, we got in the finals within the first 5 years. Well, within the second year, we're already playing finals football. So the boys, who really are the stars of all of this, have done a fantastic job. And that's with the great leadership of Michael Marum and the whole Rugby League board that supports and the whole enterprise that makes it happen.
Newly appointed PNG RFL CEO Reata Rao believes the Hunters have what it takes to win the Interest Super Cup title this year.
Yes, done. And for us, we would like the operations of the PNG Rugby League. We want to all dig deep down a bit more and raise the level a bit higher. And we identify, and I'm sure Michael and his team, management team, have identified where we have fallen short in the last 3 years.
The Hunters will play their first trial match later on this month in Cairns against the Northern Pride. Elijah Levitt, National EMTV Sports.
And that's a wrap on Trukai Sports. I'll be back with the weather details for the next 24 hours. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Overnight showers and rain in Port Moresby and showers and rain in Daru, Kerema, Alotau and Popondetta. In the Momase region, overnight showers and rain in Lae, showers in Medang and Wewak, and showers and rain in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, a shower or two in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, overnight rain showers, then morning fog in Mount Hagen, and rain showers, then morning fog in Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's been the news, sports and weather for tonight, Thursday, the 2nd of February 2017. From the entire EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.